The Synthetic Lens, Episode 83, April 23, 2026. Good evening, I'm David Carver. Tonight, OpenAI drops GPT-5.5 less than 2 months after GPT-5.4. It tops nearly every benchmark, doubles the price, and the AI arms race just hit a new gear. We're breaking it all down. First, the basics. OpenAI released GPT-5.5 today to paid subscribers, Plus, Pro, Business, and Enterprise. It's available now in ChatGPT and Codex. The Pro version is limited to Pro, Business, and Enterprise tiers. API access is coming soon. OpenAI calls it their, quote, smartest and most intuitive to use model yet. Now let's bring in Marcus Chen. Marcus, you've been poring over the benchmarks. What's the headline?
David, the headline is, OpenAI is back on top. GPT 5.5 scores 60 on the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index, 3 points ahead of Claude Opus 4.7 and Gemini 3.1 Pro. GPT 5.4 only managed a three-way tie at launch. This time, OpenAI has the crown outright.
What about the specifics? Coding, math, agentic tasks.
It's a sweep. Terminal Bench 2.0, that's complex command line workflows. GPT 5.5 hits 82.7%, up over 7 points from 5.4. GDP Val, which measures economically valuable real-world tasks, comes in at 84.9%, nearly 5 points ahead of Claude Opus 4.7. On Frontier Math Tier 4, the hardest math benchmark, GPT 5.5 scores 35.4%. That's more than 12 points ahead of Opus 4.7 at 22.9.
Those are big gaps.
They are. And here's the efficiency angle. GPT 5.5 matches GPT 5.4's per-token latency while performing at a much higher level. It uses significantly fewer tokens to complete the same tasks, so it's faster and smarter per token.
But it's not all good news. Ingrid Halvorsen, you've been looking at the pricing. What's the damage?
Well, David, the price doubled. $5 per million input tokens, $30 per million output tokens. That's twice what GPT 5.4 costs. OpenAI's argument is that because 5.5 uses roughly 40% fewer output tokens for the same work, the net cost increase is only about 20%. And at medium effort level, they claim it matches Claude Opus 4.7 at a quarter of the cost.
So they're pitching efficiency over raw price.
Exactly. But the doubled sticker price is going to raise eyebrows, especially for enterprise customers running large-scale deployments. OpenAI also introduced 5 effort levels, from non-reasoning through extra high, which gives buyers more cost control. But you're still paying more per token than the last generation.
Now, there's a catch. Marcus, what about the hallucination issue?
This is the real blemish. On the AA Omniscience benchmark, GPT 5.5 posts the highest accuracy ever at 57%. But it carries an 86% hallucination rate. That means when it doesn't know something, it answers confidently anyway, 86% of the time.
86%.
Yes, compare that to Claude Opus 4.7 at 36%, or Gemini 3.1 Pro at 50%. For knowledge-intensive work, legal, financial, medical, that gap is significant. You're getting the smartest model, but it's also the most confident when it's wrong.
That's a serious trade-off. Stan Rogers, what's the competitive landscape look like?
David, the pace is staggering. GPT 5.4 came out last month, GPT 5.3 before that in December. OpenAI's chief scientist, Yakut Patricky, said on the press call, and I'm quoting, "The last 2 years have been surprisingly slow." If this pace is what slow looks like, fast is going to be wild.
What about Anthropic and Google?
Anthropic's Claude Mythos, their cybersecurity tool, got mentioned during the OpenAI press call. There's been controversy around Mythos with reports of unauthorized access. OpenAI was quick to contrast their safety approach. Meanwhile, Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.7 is still highly competitive, especially on that hallucination metric, and Gemini 3.1 Pro remains strong on browse comp, where it actually edges out standard GPT 4.5.
Ingrid, what's the market saying about all this?
The super app narrative is what's interesting. OpenAI's Greg Brockman said GPT 5.5 brings them closer to combining ChatGPT, Codex, and their AI browser into one unified service. That's the same vision Elon Musk has for X. So you've got a model release that's also a strategic positioning play. The subtext: OpenAI doesn't just want to be the best model, they want to be the only app you need.
Marcus, any final thoughts on what this means for developers?
The 5 effort levels are underrated. Being able to dial from non-reasoning to extra high effort means developers can match compute to task complexity. That's good engineering. The coding improvements are real. 58.6% on SWE Bench Pro is meaningful. And the fact that it solves more tasks in a single pass means fewer retries, which compounds the efficiency gains.
So, smarter, faster per token, but more expensive and more confident when it's wrong. The frontier moves again. Before we wrap, let's check in with our other correspondents. Elena Vasquez, anything from the global perspective?
David, the international angle here is the safety story. OpenAI says this is their strongest set of safeguards yet. They worked with internal and external red teamers, added targeted testing for cybersecurity and biology capabilities, and collected feedback from nearly 200 early access partners. But the API isn't available yet because, quote, API deployments require different safeguards. That gap between consumer availability and API access tells you the safety bar is higher for programmatic use. European regulators are watching.
Host James Okafor, security angle?
Two things stand out. First, on CyberGym, GPT 5.5 scores 81.8% versus Opus 4.7's 73.1. That's a significant jump in offensive cybersecurity capability. Second, OpenAI's Mia Glees was asked point-blank about Anthropic's Mythos and its unauthorized access controversy. She deflected, but the subtext was clear. OpenAI wants to be seen as the responsible actor in AI security. How long that narrative holds is anyone's guess.
All right, that's the picture. GPT 5.5, faster, smarter, pricier, and frighteningly confident even when it's wrong. The leaderboard reshuffles again. For The Synthetic Lens, I'm David Carver. We'll keep watching. Stay sharp out there.